So next up, we are having a very interesting panel discussion that is lined up, and to do the honors for this, we have quite an experienced officer from the energy sector. Before calling him, I would like to call upon one of our speakers whom you all know well, and he's an engineer from a very well-reputed college, National Institute of Technology, Warangal, Telangana, and now he's heading as the Vice Chairman and Managing Director for Telangana State Renewable Energy Development Corporation. A huge round of applause for Mr. Janaya, N. Janaya, VC and MD TSREDCO. And to do the honors for this wonderful panel that is going to come up, we have an officer who has been with this organization TSREDCO for since the new and renewable energy before the bifurcation of the Telugu speaking states, that is Andhra Pradesh, now Telangana, a part of it. Please join me in welcoming Mr. G.S.V. Prasad, General Manager TSREDCO. And yet another person well known to you all who is into this energy sector, academics of energy sector, in and out he knows. We'll get to hear from him. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Director for Center for Energy Studies with Administrative Staff College of India, Raj Kiran. A round of applause. We are also joined by yet another esteemed panel speaker who knows in and out in the pharma sector and also MSME how the energies are flowing and saved and what are the technologies that are going to be there. We'll get to hear him in this panel discussion. Please put your hands together for Rajnikant Dandukuri, Director, Energy Management Division of National Productivity Council, Hyderabad. We would also be joined by speaker who gave a presentation, power-packed, energy full of presentation. Please join me in welcoming the Chief Mentor for EV Masterclass, YSR Rajiv Kumar. Please join us on the dais. With this, we will request our speaker for this panel discussion, Evolving Landscape of Clean and Green Energy in India, touching upon renewable energy and non-renewable energy, EV mobility, infrastructure and technologies in the market, and green building. And to do the honors, I would request Sri G.S.V. Prasad to take over the panel discussion. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sudhirji. Very happy to be here, participation in this panel discussion. Yeah, we have here our Vice MD TSREDCO and Director NPC Rajnikant Garu and Raj Kiran Garu from ASCII and YSR Raju Garu. Thank you very much. Very warm welcome to all of you. Definitely your feedback and giving inputs will be useful for the sector and everything. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, coming to the renewable energy programs, in Telangana, Telangana state is very forefront in capacity addition, particularly in the solar energy. From last few years, we have observing that another thing is Telangana is becoming a model, and it was appreciated by the Government of India Minister. I know also very particularly one of the program, I am present there in the Piyush Goyal, respected Piyush Goyal appreciated the model of the Telangana. It had got commanded the appreciation across the nation. what is the going forward, this RE power to the existing total installed capacity? What is the plans of the Telangana state and present RE share and would be expected further? This is to the Sri Janay Garu, VCNMD TSREDCO. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, Anandal, on the dais and ladies and gentlemen. After the formation of the Telangana state, government of Telangana has shown the efforts of need to be more reliable and quality power supply for 24 hours. During the formation of the state and prior to the formation of the state, there were many a number of power cuts and officially declared industrial holidays were there. And to overcome all these things, a definite policy has to be initiated by the government at that time. Thus by, in 2015, Telangana government has given Telangana State solar policy. In that policy was envisaged in such a way that it should be a decentralized one, so that the transmission losses and also the upfront infrastructure cost of the transmission network will be reduced, and also the decentralized mode gives the thrust upon the area-wise solar generation and also the utilization at that particular, thus by saving the line losses component in a major way. And after the policy initiation, it was our only the state to have crossed the 4 gigawatts under only decentralized mode. Later on, other states initiated our policy and they have adapted the same decentralized mode. And now, coming to our present point, Government of India's ambitious goal to become 2030 500 gigawatts and also by 2022 175 gigawatts, we are planning far ahead, and whatever the resources available under various land bank or rivers or the balancing reservoirs, whatever the locations, all the areas will be in future covering through solar, and definitely we will be moving a far ahead on par with the other states.
Thank you, sir. Really, it's a good thing that the initiative of the Telangana government that has inspired all the states across country. That's a very good initiative. So that, sir, what is the present RE share of the Telangana state, and what would be the expected further? Okay, that's expected state-wise, sir. Thank you.
During the formation of the state, our contribution is only 75 megawatts. In 2014, renewable energy is only 75 megawatts. As of now, we have already crossed 4 gigawatts. That means the exponential growth of the renewable power is happened, and as of now, an estimated 25% of the power share is from the renewables, and definitely we will cross 35% by the 22.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's for Rajivji for the regarding EV mobility and the infrastructure. Just before this event, just you have explained and very good. Even being a TSREDCO, we have also learned so much from you. This, thank you very much, Rajuji.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Just by growing demand of electric vehicles, very drastically it's growing, and how the technology and infrastructure like batteries, charging stations will play a role. They will play a role, that one thing. And another thing, standardization of this charging infrastructure is it possible? If so, how it was? Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. Just to refer to Brookings India Report 2018, the report says the total electricity demand for EVs at 33% EV penetration rate by 2030 is projected to be 37 terawatt hour, which is less than 2% of total electricity demand across the country by 2030. So the first thing is, because I'll just leave it deviation, but then this is for the benefit of all of us. The first thing is people say that, oh, so many electric vehicles and what about the electricity, and then will we still continue to get it from fossil fuels? There is nothing to worry. We are only talking about a 2% demand. And like sir has rightly mentioned, one of the key factors which is basically stopping people from considering owning up an electric vehicle at this point of time definitely is the cost. And then the second one is the ample availability of charging infrastructures. So at one point of time, we all thought charging infrastructures are only charging stations, which are basically GB by T or CHEDEMO or CCS. These are different protocols where we talk about those plinth-mounted charging stations, right? But now the technology has evolved. We are talking about charging points. These charging points are not only at domestic application, but at public applications. I think thanks to Janay Garu and Ramakrishna Garu, we are doing a pilot very soon in Telangana, where in government places, municipal places, and other public places, we are talking about installing these charging points, which cost less than few thousands. But then the ample availability of this gives a lot of, I would say, confidence. Now coming to the swapping battery as a technology. Swappable battery technology is definitely doable, especially for two segments. One is two-wheeler segment to a certain extent, and other one is three-wheeler segment. Anything above that demands for an autonomous, I would say, battery swapping, which at this point of time, neither the need nor the demand for a value-conscious market like India. So I think with the ample spread through charging points, and the swappable battery technology coming into picture, especially into two-wheelers. And again, thanks to the recent notification which was launched a year ago, where the government detached the glider and the battery. Now one can register just the glider without the battery also. I think all these are happening in the right direction to ensure the penetration of EVs is, I would say, accelerated. And the technology is also catching up with the needed market demands. Than going for a fancy technology, but what is the need of the hour right now, and are there products and solutions to that? And to that context, I think, yes, we are there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajivji. That good information.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's for Rajnikant Garu. Just we know this that India is top countries among in the generation of renewable energy from the last few years. Among top five countries, India is also one of the country. And recently, our Prime Minister is also has announced his ambitious target of 450 gigawatt by 2030. That which is driving, and at the same time, for promotion of this one, at the same time, that financing is also most important for the forwarding with the ambitious target of 450 gigawatt of 2030. As this one, how do you envisage that India as a marketplace for green finance investment globally? That you please give us some. Thank you.
So, yes, first of all, very good afternoon and very good afternoon to Janay Garu. So if you see the overall picture, out of the total 100% of energy that is pumping into India, 11% or 12% go to transportation sector, where Mr. Raju has clearly told about EV vehicles, their development. So what happens to the rest of the 50% is to the industry. So for that we are trying to bring so many technological interventions, but it takes a lot of time. Now industry also is moving towards solar thermal energy. Like you go to Philippines or you go to UAE or MENA regions, you get a lot of 1.8 gigawatt, 2 gigawatt solar power plants. But now here, solar, not solar power, it is solar thermal energy is coming into picture. Now recently, 2 months back, UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, with MSME, want to convert the steam generation by solar power. In Hyderabad, in Medak Pharma cluster. So if industry is moving towards solar, I don't think so this will be a tough task for India. And once it is moving towards solar, then there will be a lot of funding come for renewable energy, green financing. And it is possible because now the technology is readily available. We can see a megawatt scale power plants. Recently we have seen one plant. It is almost around 20 gigawatt solar, 3,600 panels, and it is generating almost a steam generation of around 20-30 bar. Right. So it is possible. It is possible, sir.
Thank you, Rajnikant garu. Thank you. That coming to the Raj Karna garu, just we know his initiatives and his participation, particularly for the ECBC code in Telangana, that has played a vital role. And that is the first Telangana state is initiation of the ECBC and compliance of the so many buildings. That's the backbone. As a TSREDCO officer, I know that behind who is the person is Raj Karna garu. Thank you very much. Because of this one, besides the energy generation, the energy conservation is also plays a vital role. We know that's why that ECPC code also for the along with other sectors we have taken commercial building sector also vital role in a energy sector. Its contribution. However, the green buildings contribute to this sector to add existing one. There should be.
Thank you very much. In fact, it's really your greatness that appreciating the work, but it is because of the TSREDCO's leadership and TSREDCO's efforts to reach to this level of energy conservation building code compliance in the state and leading the entire country and showing the path. Coming to your question, that obviously the green buildings play a key role in energy efficiency, because if you see all the green building rating systems, though it is IGBC rating system or though it is a LEED building rating system or Griha rating system or any other rating system, one of the key element and one of the key parameter of those rating systems is energy efficiency also, apart from several other parameters.
Right.
So all the green buildings, if they are achieving certain kind of green whatever rating level, they come under the, obviously they come under the compliance levels of energy conservation building code, and they do comply the energy conservation building code to a great extent. And that's how any green building, even the minimum level of green building rating system, does comply the energy conservation building code in a very effective way. So going to the green building rating is a one step ahead than the energy conservation building code.
Right.
Because these are the private and voluntary code systems in the country as well as the whole world. But the difference between green building rating system as well as the energy conservation building code, energy conservation building code is a code which is been specified as by the government of Telangana and government. So the code is mandatory and you have to follow those on a mandatory basis. It is not a voluntary. So it gives certain kind of specifications rather than the whole rating system. And that is how I think Telangana is doing really great to achieve those energy conservation aspects in the entire built environment sector. And I wish that Eco-Niwas Samhita in residential sector will also be implemented very soon. And all the residential buildings will also come under the purview of energy conservation. And that's how we are going to achieve a great, I think we are moving towards developing the sustainable energy efficient habitat systems around us. And that is the great step. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank
Over
you.
to you.
Thank you, Raj Karna garu. Sir, coming to Janay garu, VCN MD TSREDCO, this recently Government of India has announced one in keeping mind of farmer sector, that PM Kusum program has been announced. Very prestigious program for this one. I think Telangana, how is going to utilize that opportunity? How is the farmers and the discoms will get benefit? And is there any plans for the Telangana government? You please. This one, sir.
Yeah, this is the one of the pilot scheme which I can say is a extended decentralized power generation. Every farmer have a source of land, whether it will be fertile land or non-fertile land. Based on the availability of the land, government has decided to made them renewable power generator actually. Each substation will be identified through the maximum agriculture load envisaged upon the usage of the particular substation. After selecting the particular substation, in and around the 5 kilometers radius of the substation, any farmer wants to have production of the renewable solar power in their land, government wants to provide them the facility of purchasing the power from the produced from the agriculture right. So each substation wise 500 kilowatts to 2 megawatt capacity will be added to the grid from that generation, and in entire Telangana as of now 500 megawatts of capacity is to be added in this year, and it will be extended to another 3 years. That means total 4 years, every year 500 each, and thus by it wants to generate around 2000 megawatts of solar power from the only agriculture rights.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, is there by PM Kusum, how do you farmers will get the benefit by? Is there any tariff fixed by the TS discoms or?
Yes, already government of Telangana was given the permission and ERC given the tariff for 3 rupees 13 paisa per unit generated through this generating system, and this tariff is fixed for the 25 years period. So the plant will be completed after the commissioning up to 25 years. This tariff will be fixed and the power purchase agreement will be between the discom and that right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. This is a good program for the actually for the benefit of the farmers that recently Government of India has announced. Rajnikant Garu, this regarding how can pharma and MSME sector work towards energy efficiency, because you are working in the same sector. So many energy audits also have been done by NPC and you this one. Is there any MSME sector towards energy efficiency you have planned?
Yeah, actually MSME, if you see Telangana as a whole and especially Hyderabad, it has so many pharma industries, and in these pharma industries there is two differentiation. One is large scale units where technology penetration is very high, whereas MSCs use still the age old technologies. So for them, Government of India along with Government of Telangana has brought the revolving fund, state revolving fund, and also the central revolving fund,
Achha.
where the initial investment, this is with Minister of MSME and UNIDO, initial investment 80% for the proved technologies. There are so much proved technologies, especially like replacement of steam ejectors with vacuum pumps. You have age-old chillers. Now you have centrifugal chillers available with 0.5 kilowatt per year, but still MSMEs have 1.2, 1.3 kilowatt per year. So these chillers, if the capex is being given by the revolving fund, and depending on the savings proved by the consultant, the unit has to give back from their savings. So this type of financial assistance is being given to MSMEs so that they will also come to a level where the cost of energy will come down. If you see the recent 3-4 months trend of coal rate from rupees 5 to rupees 6 to rupees 7, now it is rupees 9. And most of the companies have been shifted from coal to rice husk. Now the cost of rice husk has increased from 2,500 to 5,000 rupees per ton. So the market is so dynamic now. So energy cost is very, very important, especially, and there is a huge competition in, especially in the pharma industry. So this type of schemes are coming up in industry for MSME sectors. And there is a potential of almost around 20% of energy can be reduced in MSME.
It's a good scope, good opportunity. There's a good
Yes.
thing, sir, to this one. Yeah. Regarding EV, I'm coming back to you, Rajuji. This one, presently we understand that the charging timings is the different of the slow charging, fast charging, some 8 hours, some 1.5 hours. Is growing forward, what would be the, any technological improvements can we expect in reducing the charging time further? And how it would be useful for this charging?
Yes. So, as per the Government of India, there are 3 types of chargers. One is the slow charger, other one is the moderate or mid-level chargers, and then this fast chargers. So all these things that we see, GB by T, CCS, CHEDEMO, etc., they come under fast chargers. And each one of these follow their own protocol. Say, for example, CCS is predominantly by Europe and US, whereas CHEDEMO is by the Japanese markets. GB by T is Chinese, and Tesla has its own way, Tesla supercharging protocol, right? So right now, the government of India in the fast charging is working on bringing interoperability. That means whatsoever the protocol is, can there be a technology which can kind of make it standardized across all? So that is still being under consideration by Department of Science and Technology. They are working on it. And now coming to the moderate and the slow charges. Just to tell you, Ji, when it comes to mass adoptability, it is always the slow charges and then the moderate charges which are going to take the lead, because in the matured markets like Europe, we see 70% charges are only slow and moderate charges. Whereas these high charges, which are like our petrol bunks, are only once in a while, because the more you charge them with these high charges, the battery life also comes down, right? So technology is getting in place to talk about interoperability, and in terms of scaling, it is always the slow charger and moderate chargers that is going to take place. And now India is also working, especially with ISRO taking a lead here, interestingly, right? Its own indigenous lithium-ion technology and its own indigenous charging protocol to ensure that the mass market is, I would say, addressed. Thank you.
Okay, good. If if it will be very good and very prospective, as we expected this one, if coming into place, fast charging stations without losing any battery efficiency, that we have to expect. Thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you. Correct.
One minute, Rajiv Garu, I would like to ask one.
Please, sir.
We want to have one training session with all our colleagues like MSME, whatever the National Institute of Small Industries, nice, for entrepreneur development skills on the EV master class.
Sure, sir. It's a privilege.
Definitely we will explore. We will ask our budding engineers who are from the reputed institutes in and around Hyderabad or NIT Warangal, my own college, to have one session with you. Definitely I will ask N.V. Raman Rao Garu, who is the director NIT Warangal, and also the CBIT Usmania people.
Thank you very much, sir. Sure. Always at your service, sir. Thank you very much.
TSREDCO will be sponsoring, don't worry.
Fantastic. I think it deserves a good round of applause for such a spontaneous, I would say, initiative to take the e-mobility forward. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Rajiji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Coming to Rajkiran Garu. Yeah, that as energy conservation, this one implementation strategies that we have taken so many aspects and policies also for under energy conservation, for initiative of this green buildings also from the ASCII side, because you are one of the technical committee very actively participating in the ECBC technical committee, and is there any policy initiatives for the building of green technology buildings? That one is there?
Currently, Bureau of Energy Efficiency is actually supporting and promoting various technology development also. But then the reducing means like promoting the energy efficient technologies within the building sector, specifically building sector. Obviously, there are various agencies which are working on this, like CII, IGBC, because that is a key aspect which you raise, and that's a valid question and valid point nowadays, which we are all facing. That in fact, when I am actually roaming in rural areas and even tier 2, tier 3 cities, the problem is with that availability of these building technologies. The materials are not available, that awareness creation is not there. Right. Even like I am not aware that what kind of AC is required, air conditioning is required, given to that particular kind of space. So I think certain kind of policy, because it's a varied subject, and Department of Science and Technology is also promoting the various innovative technologies where we can actually bring down the energy energy consumption in those particular kind of appliances and equipment. So obviously Government of India has the standards and labeling program, with a great policy to increase and to add more and more appliances in that particular kind of standards and labeling program. That is the one program which currently we have as a policy initiative. But other policy initiative, obviously, by involving other departments like Department of Science and Technology, and even the Department of Industries and all, NMS, small and medium enterprises, that kind of policy, I think currently it is not there, and certainly we collectively need to work together to promote that particular policy, especially on energy efficiency. Rajnikant Garu, if you know something on this, you can actually throw more light on this, particularly on a policy kind of thing.
Thank you, Rajkiran.
As such, there is no policy for MSME separately, sir. But individual states, like if you go to Tamil Nadu is having some subsidy for energy efficient technologies.
Acha.
Whereas, for energy efficient technologies like MSME rice mills, they can get almost around 30% subsidy on energy efficient. So individual state is taking care of the energy efficient technology penetration into MSME. But as such, at central level, only the standards and labeling is only available as on date.
In fact, to add Mr. Rajnikant's point, we are working with Government of AP now to bring energy conservation policy. So the draft is ready. We are incorporating all these aspects into that. It is not for public now, but then it is still for peer review. So Government of Telangana with your initiative can actually move ahead to bring certain kind of energy efficiency and energy conservation policy. So I like EV policy in Telangana. So Janaya sir's leadership is really...
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Actually, last time I had a meeting with the Director General MSME. She came to my office and she asked, sir, what can be done, what we can be done in the front of MSME. I asked, actually at least one industrial cluster in and around Hyderabad should have total RE integration. It's self-generation, net zero industrial cluster, at least near net zero. So they have agreed to, and funding mechanism I asked for the ADB, and in fact after this session I want us to speak to the same with the Rajni, because under the NPC, National Productivity Council, we had a fantastic program in the NIMS, which was a premier medical institute in Telangana. Entire appliances were being replaced recently, up to fans and bulbs, with our efforts. Now they are wants to go in another far away, and entire RE integration they are now planning. With that, our services were being recognized up to the CM's level also. So the same thing can be adapted to in the MSME sector. Thus by TSREDCO will be the role model by integrating energy efficient appliances and also the RE integration. Both the things can be done.
Thank you, sir. Good initiative from TSREDCO. Sir, one more question for Rajkiran Garu. That ECBC buildings, in commercial buildings, you have a lot of experience already. In the earlier, this one also by giving, you have mentioned that one. For the residential sector also this one. What are the suggestions? Because Telangana government has initiated with the TSREDCO is taking the part, that one with the support of BEE for the residential sector also for this one. Is there any suggestions? Because with your experience, how do you, what you suggest for the success of the similar for the commercial buildings for the to take up in residential sector also?
Thank you very much, sir, because obviously means the bringing energy efficiency in residential sector is not that easy as bringing energy efficiency in commercial segment. Because it is as Honorable Governor Garu also mentioned, it's an individual commitment to that particular kind of building,
exactly,
built environment, and at the same time, if we think practically, that what kind of technology is available and awareness to build that particular kind of building at local level, because buildings in India are constructed by not like the professionals and engineer assistants and all. Even local masons also construct the residential buildings. So I think as you remember, means the current technical committee has taken the decision on mandatory ENS implementation. So high-rise residential buildings and where the group housing is coming, like community housing and villa community housing kind of thing, there we can actually promote this particular kind of energy efficiency aspects, making mandatory ENS implementation in those buildings. And we have seen in a great way that once it starts, then it percolates to the ground level, because those construction practices are being followed, the material use practices are being followed, and then people follow this. So that's how I think we can slowly build to take it up to that ground level and for better implementation. But initially we can bring the high-rise residential and more the villa communities or the communities which have more than 500 square feet or square meter plot area, and all those buildings can be made mandatory. Second thing is to create awareness. That awareness has to be done massively in each and every district. Like for commercial buildings, it was easy because the only few hubs were there, like the large cities like Warangal,
Right.
Hyderabad and all those kind of cities, the commercial buildings were coming up. But when you are talking about residential buildings, each and every district has to be targeted, and then that capacity building and awareness need to be created at that place. Third thing is, I think 4 aspects are there. Third point is, in fact, we have started this in AP now, and AP government, last week I was there, and AP government, both Arvind and Ajay Jain sir and Srikant Nagulupalli garu, they are coming forward and they have taken the decision to implement Econima Samhita in all their dignity housing program. Hence onwards, all the dignity housing program, almost 30 lakhs houses, 3 million houses they are constructing. All 30 lakhs houses will be under the purview of and with the compliance of Econima Samhita, with cool roof implementation also.
Cool proof.
Cool roof implementation also. So
Oh,
that's the decision they have taken.
That's a very good initiative.
So that's how they are coming up forward, and I think Telangana government can also do the same thing. And fourth thing is to build the capacity right from the educational institutes and the architect institutes, bringing that particular syllabus of Econima Samhita in those curriculum. And at the same time, because for commercial buildings we thought to train architects in their bachelor's and master's degree, but when you are talking about Econima Samhita, we need to train our local ITI persons also, local masons. That workmanship need to be developed to make it very, very effective, to make them understand about the importance of energy efficiency. So it's a whole kind of effort and framework we need to define to take it up to that level of success, I think. And I think we are geared up with the experience of Energy Conservation Building Code, and under Janaya sir's leadership and your leadership, TSREDCO is always there. So I am very optimistic about effective implementation of ENS in the state of Telangana.
Thank you, Rajkiran garu. Definitely we will utilize your services and take your experiences always for like success of commercial building sector, also for residential this one.
Thank you, sir. I am always with you. I am always with you.
Thank you, Rajkiran garu. Thank you, sir. Sir, again coming to the renewable energy programs, we are coming to Janay garu. Sir, this always we are hearing this one balancing of with the renewable energy power, increasing of renewable power, balancing of grid is very difficult, and forecasting and scheduling is main key factors. And how the Telangana discoms, because you are also the actually discom employee, you know very well. Is there any policies and what are the strategies of this one balancing the grid? You please, sir.
Actually, earlier it used to have technological issues during the Tamil Nadu, where they have added 10,000 megawatts of the wind capacity to the grid. At that time, there was no 15-minute integration policy. That means within the stipulated time, the frequency modulation will be suited in such a way that in spite of any spikes in the grid, sudden dropping of the 100 megawatt or 200 megawatt capacity of the available RE, if drops means there will be a frequency issue, and because of the under frequency or higher frequency, the grid will be naturally collapsed. In such a scenario, our production mechanism nowadays, with the latest technologies from Schneider and other market leaders from the breaker side, and also the differential relays and also the production mechanism which was being developed nowadays is coping with the latest technologies, and since 2.5 years many a number of RE plants were come up and which are already one under the same national grid, because in Rajasthan there were around 10 to 15,000 megawatts of solar power. Even in Gujarat 7,000 megawatts. Even in Maharashtra and Karnataka also more than 5,000 megawatts is there. Now that's all been integrated into the national grid and no grid collapse was being taken up since 2.5 years. That means technological innovations as well as the grid management by the better management by the respective discoms and also the power grid yielded to in such a way, and there were no issues so far, and we are coping with the latest technologies so that it did not be disturbed by the renewable power.
Thank you, sir, for good information. Sir, coming to the, again, EV, I am coming to Rajiv Garu. Already this good awareness that recently the Telangana government from the Chief Minister has given good message, that one wirelink in the YouTube is a very good message. From part of the other states also our colleagues is calling and your CM has given good message for the EV like that. Still, though we have taken any more steps for the Telangana government for conducting Goel campaigns in the different ways. In the colonies also TSREDCO has they conducted. So taking all the steps. Even then, for popularizing of the EV and push, is there any alternative technology for four-wheelers? Because two-wheelers we got, recently we have seen, Wala has announced we have a 1 lakh bookings, and Ather also, they are, we are not in a position to supply the vehicles. We got that much demand this one. But whereas in the four-wheelers we are not seeing any suggestions in this one. Thank you.
First of all, there are many nodal agencies appointed by the center across the country, but let me tell you, the TSREDCO is one of the vibrant nodal agencies, because this Go Electric campaign which was done, it is less than 4 or 5 months when the first Go Electric campaign was done. And every time there is an opportunity to take the EV message forward, I think Janay Garu and the team, your entire team is always there. So I think definitely one of the very strong, vibrant teams of TSREDCO. Now,
it's all credit will go to our Honorable Minister, CM Garu, and our particularly, this is the right time I think I mentioned to. I am sorry to disturb you. Our Special Chief Secretary, Minister, and CM Garu, KTR Garu is given very good. There's very good inspiration, and they are remembering our responsibility, this one, all the time. That one. Yeah, please,
so
sorry.
That's brilliant. Now, well, these are market news. I am not sure how far I can reveal, but let me tell you. Like you rightly said, why two-wheelers and electric buses are flourishing? Because if you look at FAMES 1.0, faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles, and FAMES 2.0, which is the recent 10,000 crores fund that was released, close to 40% of cost in terms of buses is absorbed by the government. And the next biggest thing which is contributing to that is two-wheelers in terms of 25 to 30%. Whereas when it comes to four-wheelers, the subsidies are very, very limited. And I think that was one reason why there was no such a great, I would say, great demonstration of adoption among four-wheelers. Second thing, the products that are coming right now are, at this point of time, are still little above the apple to apple comparison in terms of pricing, because we talk about different products at 16 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs. But the good news is, if you look at the recent numbers, Tata Nexon numbers started really raising up month on month, and then the cost parity also started about to be achieved. And our one of the biggest OEMs, right, they are bringing an equivalent of WagonR in EV with the same price parity to match. I would say the small car. I would say in segment. I think more and more products, more and more technologies are coming into place, and with the battery costs coming down year on year, right? The cost parity would soon be achieved, And even among four-wheelers, already we are seeing a lot of traction, right? MG has a vehicle, then we are talking Hyundai Koni has a vehicle, then we are talking about Tatas, we are talking about Mahindras, and very soon we will have other players also coming into picture. Starting to offer the vehicles at a lower segment, right? More at the sedan and sub 4 meter segment, and the cost parity also would be soon achieved. And very soon we will see good number of four-wheeler cars running on the roads. And I'm also eagerly waiting for that, right, the common man's car, which really took the complete masses, WagonR, when it was launched. I really looking forward to see its e-version, electric version. Thank you.
In fact, that BYD Warren Buffett's car, our minister sir is having 2 vehicles already booked.
Wow.
On our show, and special CS Energy and also CS Energy, CS Telangana State asked for the vehicles, and we too from our organization promoting that one.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic.
Lastly, last question, I am coming to the Rajinikanth Garu. This market and green finance coming towards contributing more in use of renewable energy in the MSME sectors and other sectors, how they will support?
Yeah, yes, sir. Actually, just now I'm just thinking when Mr. Raju is telling about EV, now it is not penetrating. If you just go back, maybe Raju passed out in 2010. So in the year 97, 2000, I remember 1 megawatt cost of solar power is 18 lakhs, 18 crores.
18 crores.
18 crores.
Right.
And conventional coal based is 5 crores. And the cost of unit of solar is 18 rupees.
18 rupees.
And coal is almost around 7 rupees, or at thermal station it is 2.1 rupees.
Yeah, I had that.
Now you see today morning, Ajay Mishra sir is also telling the same case. It is going to happen with EV also. There is no doubt in it, because as market is getting matured, people will start pumping money. Then naturally the competition will create, then the cost will come down. As far as MSCME is concerned, if there is any subsidy coming for the technology, especially the solar part, not solar power, solar power is matured, solar thermal. If we can push some subsidy on solar thermal side, especially the steam generation, hot water generation, I feel if you see the 100%, 50% of the energy is going to industry. Whatever we are talking is the residential solar, whatever we are talking is the power generation solar, EV is the transportation sector. If something like the Pareto analysis, 80% of the energy is going for the industry. If something is going to happen on the thermal side of this thing, I see definitely there will be a very good penetration of solar in MSME. And I am sure it is going to happen in industry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Rajinikanth Garu, Rajkirna Garu, and Raju Garu.
Is it okay to...
Please, please.
First of all, thank you very much for that revelation, right? Because this reminds me of 2 classic examples that I would like to share. When the LPG gas was being brought to India, there were a lot of questions. How can we supply to every house? There is no piping, there is no gassing. I mean, how can somebody carry 14 kg of cylinder and then deliver? But then we know India is one of the largest consumers of portable LPG gases, number one. Second, in 2000s, when the mobile revolution started, right? Will Android, what is this technology? What is this Java technology? Will it make any sense, etc.? But as we speak today, in less than, I would say, a decade or decade and a half, India is the largest consumer in terms of mobile markets. And now we have phones costing even 1,000 rupees also. I think you're right. India market is definitely different from the rest of the world. We are very, I would say, value conscious and innovative, right? And it all needs that sweet spot. And once we hit that sweet spot, I think our numbers speak for it. And thank you very much for bringing the example of solar, which is absolutely right. And I'm very, very sure that this is going to repeat in the case of electric mobility revolution also. Thank you very much.
Exactly, you are right, Raju Garu. That not only that one, in the renewable energy also, even 2006-7, just initially they have put for only 20 gigawatt by 2020. First of all, announced this one. In the 2014, 175 gigawatt when our Prime Minister announced, everybody is, whether it is possible or not, everybody has suspected that one. But now already it has been 150 gigawatt by India. Now with that inspiration, that Prime Minister again has set the 430 gigawatt by 2030. Is there definitely it's possible. This one, that is the like you said. This one, India is a different market, and definitely it will be like this one. Thank you, Raju.
It seems an estimated study of 10,000 four-wheelers will be saving 250 crores oil pool account in in a financial year. That is the statistics provided by the Niti Aayog. Thus, by not only saving our own exchequer, that fund can be utilized for our welfare schemes or else any other infrastructure development. So only the thing actually, people are nowadays having awareness, and it remembers me in my during age old days when I booked my Hero Honda in 1986. I have waited for 6 months to get that my Honda vehicle, because at that time it was a very highly 1 liter petrol, it used to give us 80 kilometers of ride. Now electric vehicle also becoming such a tool that we have to wait for at least 3 months. Even Nexon, they are not providing us minimum 15 weeks are they are saying. That is the problem. I want to have our own people, entire TSREDCO will be using only four-wheelers from Nexon, but they are not providing. Semiconductor and chip issues are going on. Anyhow, all these things will be because of 75,000 crores. Yesterday's Prime Minister's vision of making India Atmanirbhar Bharat. That integration of whatever the ISRO, what you are saying, and all these things, because we are all technologically very sound people. All our brain drain is going outside to US and other somewhere else. So all these things can be utilized in our own country so that we will be sufficiently and we will achieve our Atmanirbhar Bharat purely.
Yeah, thank you. As you all expected, definitely we hope that India will get change with 100% EV vehicles on the roads, and pollution-free atmosphere will get very shortly. We all expect. And at the similarly, energy conservation and renewable energy also, we hope more than 50% renewable energy share also will get in the sector in Indian, and with the energy conservative efforts, and everybody we hope with the supporting all this and giving the good information and to make the policies to suggest the governments for the TSREDCO is a very good. Your suggestions will be helpful for us. Definitely. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing all your valuable timing from the beginning itself. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
One group photo, please.
Especially being the Sunday.
Especially.
Thank you for IndiGlobal also. They are organizing very successful way.
After this very interesting session on EV, which kept going on and on, we would like to present a small token of appreciation to all our speakers, for which I would request with Sudhir Gautam and Mr. N. Janaya to please present a token of appreciation to Shri G. S. V. Prasad, General Manager, Telangana State Renewable Energy Development Corporation. And also to Shri G. Raghuram Reddy, Manager Director and Chairman, Telangana State Southern Power Distribution Company Limited. To Mr. Shri Raj Kiran, Professor and Director, Center for Energy Studies, Administrative Staff College of India, Hyderabad. And also to Shri Rajnikant Dentuguri, Director Energy Management Division of National Productivity Council, Hyderabad. I request the audience to please give a huge round of applause, because after this we're anyways going to break for tea. For now, please clap louder. And also to our very enthusiastic and energetic young and 40 under 40 YSR Rajiv Kumar, Chief Mentor EV Masterclass. I request the audience to please clap louder. I would request all our speakers to please gather for a photo together with the mementos. And also to Mr. Janaya Garu, Vice Chairman Telangana.